Welcome to TechEd 2023 and our session Extend Your ERP While Keeping the Core Clean with SAP BTP. BTP is the platform of choice to extend your SAP solutions. On BTP, you will find everything you need from app development, automation, integration, data and analytics to AI. Birgit and I, we are a dream team and we are part of the product management and app development on SAP BTP. And our topic today is extending SAP systems with BTP.
Yeah, I assume that probably most of our customers have their own extensions running to extend standard functionalities to make them fit to their specific needs, to their specific business processes. But when doing extensions, it's very important that you keep your core clean. That means that the core system remains as standard and untouched as possible. And that brings you a couple of benefits, like that with minimized manual adjustments, the upgrade process remains much more efficient, and by that you can reduce your costs. And also a clean core ensures rapid implementation of new processes and easy adaptation to business challenges. And last but not least, maintaining a clean core also ensures data consistency. We consider 6 dimensions when talking about clean core, and the one we are focusing today on is extensibility. That means that you keep your modifications controlled. And this is the focus of our lecture today. Build cloud-ready architectures of your extensions in a clean core fashion.
But what extension options do we have for SAP systems?
Well, actually, we have 2 different options when we talk about extensibility. On the one hand side, we have the on-stack extensibility, which, as the name says, means that you run your extensions on your SAP S/4HANA stack, as the extensions are tightly coupled with your SAP S/4HANA data and transactions. And on the other side, we have side-by-side extensibility. There, your extensions are running on SAP BTP, as they are only loosely coupled with your SAP S/4HANA. And usually, in most cases, you will probably use a combination of both on-stack and side-by-side extensibility. But, very important, classic ABAP extensibility is not clean core compliant. Well, the big news of this TechEd is SAP Build Code. And with SAP Build Code, we have something new for you if you want to build side-by-side extensions running on SAP BTP. Anna, can you tell us what SAP Build Code is?
Sure thing. Let's go into the slide. SAP Build Code is our turnkey environment for coding, testing, integrations, and application lifecycle management, optimized for Java and JavaScript development. You can build rapidly with AI code generation powered by Joule, including generating app logic, from just natural language descriptions, using English as your programming language. If you use Build Code to build extensions, you also get guided experiences. They are based on best practices, following the BTP Developers Guide. And you have pre-built templates to quickly build your applications and extensions. And the solution is tailored for SAP development specifically, with pre-built integrations to SAP and third-party solutions. With Build Code, you can comfortably extend enterprise applications such as S/4HANA, which is the focus of this talk. And in addition, SAP Build Code also provides you fusion development options, so you can use artifacts you have created with Build low-code solutions and combine them with, for example, a CAP data service you created with SAP Build Code. And so you can also deploy Fiori applications to the ABAP environment on SAP BTP. So there is a lot to do to build your extensions with SAP Build Code. And I know some of you want even more details, so let's look into the solution, what's behind Build Code. So the development with Build Code is happening in an optimized environment from Business Application Studio for full stack or Fiori applications. There you have tools that easily let you use all of the app services like the Cloud Application Programming Model, or how we call it CAP. And UI development with SAP UI5, SAP Fiori Elements, or even the UI5 web components. And it's also integrated with mobile services and the mobile development kit, or the native SDKs on BTP. And speaking of extensions, there are certain runtime services included in SAP Build Code. It's a combination of our most popular cloud services from BTP together with our SDKs. And let's see how Build Code helps you to build extensions.
Yeah, as said before, we have on-stack extensibility options and side-by-side extensibility options. On-stack are the SAP S/4HANA side, but we won't dive deeper into that. Also, our LOBs have their own extension options, but let's go to the focus of this talk, the side-by-side extensibility on SAP BTP and how SAP Build Code fits into this picture. So we start with automating processes across backends, and for that you can use our business user tools, SAP Build Apps and SAP Build Process Automation. And then you can build lightweight webs and mobile apps, and you can do that with our build apps without using any code. Or as a developer, you can also use SAP Mobile Services and SAP UI5 and Fiori Elements to build web and mobile applications. And then you have the option as a third use case to develop full-stack apps. And for that, we have SAP Mobile Services, SAP UI5 and SAP Fiori Elements, our SAP Cloud Application Programming Model CAP, and for our ABAP world, the ABAP Cloud with the RESTful Application Programming Model. No. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, and I also wanted to show you how SAP Build Code fits into this picture. You can see here in the highlighted boxes that all the highlighted boxes are part of SAP Build Code. And let's now look at the different options, the different use cases we have for SAP Build Code.
Yes, so let's go into it. We mentioned one of the use cases is building web applications with SAP Build Code solutions. And in this use case scenario, you can extend your core systems with just user interfaces, but the backend and data is coming from your core. And SAP Build Code supports the enterprise-ready SAP UI5 framework, as well as SAP Fiori Elements, which builds on top of SAP UI5 for typical ERP extension use cases. These applications provide API connectivity to SAP and non-SAP systems via OData, REST, or BTP destinations. And with the right OData service, you can create Fiori Element UIs for your S4 system without needing to write a single line of JavaScript code. You can connect it to your S4 system easily, deploy it to the ABAP environment in S4, or you might also know it as embedded steampunk still. Or you simply deploy it to the Cloud Foundry runtime with just one click. And there's also an option to have it in SAP Build Work Zone.
Yeah, I see you have different UI technologies in here. Yes. And yeah, what do I use when?
So when to use which SAP UI technology is a question that keeps coming up. SAP UI5 and Fiori Elements support the SAP Fiori design guidelines. They provide enterprise qualities such as accessibility, internationalization, security, and yeah, as you might have, if you have been in the UI5 session earlier, SAP UI5 now supports TypeScript, which improves code quality and makes your development efforts easier if you want to use it. The flexible programming model you see here, that means you can combine freestyle UI5 development with classical coding, or you use the building blocks from SAP Fiori Elements very flexibly. The more SAP Fiori Elements building blocks you use, the less development effort you have. If you use a standard floor plan, you have no development effort at all. Then we have another option to build mobile applications with SAP Build Code. There is an integration with SAP Mobile Services. For many customers, a mobile extension is actually their first step onto BTP. In Build Code, a seamless integration with SAP Mobile Services enables the capabilities like offline data sync, push notification, and advanced app management out of the box. With the mobile development kit, you can build SAP Fiori mobile apps that can run on both iOS and Android with just a single code base. And you can connect to S/4HANA without going and deploy with via OData and deploy to Cloud Foundry. And if you use MDK to develop, you can directly deploy to your devices without going through the App Store processes from iOS or Android. And on this diagram, you also see the native SDKs here. We are looking at when to use what best now. So the mobile development kit means you develop once and you deploy it to both iOS and Android platforms. You have this instant distribution with streamlined updates of your apps without navigating the App Store processes. If you're lucky enough to have iOS or Android developers at hand, you can also use the native SDKs for iOS and Android and to get complete control over the performance of your mobile app. This means we covered the front-end part. If you want to develop full-stack applications, you see now we already talked about the presentation tier. You will need a back-end, and if you use Build Code for that, you can use the Cloud Application Programming model to develop the back-end. If you are in the ABAP world, you can use the ABAP Cloud model or ABAP RESTful Application Programming model instead. Both are Clean Core compliant. Deployment can happen to Cloud Foundry and Kyma, or in the ABAP case, to the ABAP environment on BTP. Of course, you can throw a HANA into mix if you need a database. So that's a lot to cover. If you use the Cloud Application Programming model for your extension, as recommended with SAP Build Code, you get some certain benefits like simplified development and higher productivity because it drastically reduces your coding efforts, it reduces boilerplate code following enterprise best practices, and minimizes your risk as well and safeguarding your IT investments. Whenever there's a technology change, you don't have to change the whole app. You can just change your CAP code. And it brings you intrinsic cloud qualities like scalability, resilience, extensibility, multi-tenancy if you want a full-blown SaaS application. But let's look at a practical example.
Yeah, let me now show you how this really looks like if you want to build a full-stack extension with SAP Build Code. Let's assume the following scenario. A company wants to have an application that allows a clerk to maintain risks for certain suppliers and also their mitigation. And the application is an extension for SAP S/4HANA Cloud, and it deals with risks and mitigations that are local entities in the application and suppliers coming from the SAP S/4HANA Cloud system. We'll start with an empty project from SAP Business Application Studio. And for that, let me quickly jump to the presentation. Is it possible to switch to my screen? Okay, this is live. I have to put it to the other monitor. Sorry for that. Okay, so good. Let's start with that. Okay, as you see here, we start with an empty project, open our guides, that guides us through our development process, and we have here the one for generative AI-powered development, supporting us with data models, sample data, application logic, and unit testing. And we are now opening our AI assistant, Joule, and ask Joule to create a risk management app with risks and mitigations. And Joule is taking this input, as you can see, it's natural language input. Joule interprets it and comes back with a result. We can check that, and if we are satisfied with it, we accept it. And in our previously empty data model, it directly gets transferred, and we now have the data model and the services, and even sample data are directly created. So we are happy with that, and now we can add our SAP S/4HANA Cloud system as an external resource. So we select our SAP S/4HANA Cloud. We want to add a business partner service, and we can even check the data. So jumping to the live data, check if this is what we need. In this case, okay, it's fine, so we can add that to our project. And that takes a moment. Okay, so now our external data source, the S/4HANA Cloud, has been integrated in our project. We expose that via a service. Okay, so that is done now. And as a next step, we would also like to have a relationship between our risks and our business partner data. So to do so, we jump into the graphical editor, simply add the relationship, give it a name, and then we can again select our business partner coming from our S/4HANA Cloud. And by that, we are already done with modeling the application data model and so on, and we now generate our user interface. We are guided through this process again. And in this case, we select a Fiori application with a list report. And now the user interface is created from the template that we have chosen. So that takes a moment. And now the page map opens so that we can adapt the template to our specific needs. And as a first step, we wanted to change the list report. We would like to have the table initial load enabled so that we directly can see in the list which data we have. And we also would like to add our data coming from S/4HANA Cloud as a column in our list. So with that, we are done with adapting the list, and we can now jump back into adapting the object page. Now we can define how we want to see the single objects. And in this case, we would like to add also the information coming from our S/4HANA Cloud system. So we are selecting that. And we want to have our supplier business partner data, the name, and also the information if a partner is already blocked, which is quite interesting for a risk management scenario. And now, as a last step in the refinement, we want to have a value head for our supplier business partner. We add the full name and also the information if the business partner is blocked. And we don't want to have that as a drop-down list. So we apply our changes, and by that, the modifications which we do to the user interface are also done. And now, as a next step, I would really like to check how this looks like, and especially I would like to have the live data. So therefore, I changed the run configuration, and Business Application Studio is offering us a run and debug functionality with which we can easily preview what we just generated. So this is done now. And now in a couple of seconds. Yeah, we now see the application that we generated, see the list view, and we will now jump into one of the risks and also add the supplier business partner. And by that, these data are coming from our S/4HANA cloud system. So, okay, by that you have seen that it's really easy with SAP Build Code to build your extensions, to get the data from your SAP S/4HANA cloud into your extensions. And yeah, as said, it's really easy. It took us a bit more than 5 minutes and you're done with your extensions.
So a full stack application on BTP, side-by-side extension for S/4HANA in less than 6 minutes. This is impressive. And this can be done with SAP Build Code.
Good. Yeah, then I would say let's jump
See
to
what the
Q&A.
Community has to say.
Live Q&A.
So the first question is SAP Build low-code, no-code versus SAP Fiori list element. Can we achieve everything using SAP Build apps, or there is a limitation compared to UI development using Business Application Studio or Build Code? It depends a bit on what you want to do. If you want to develop a freestyle UI and you want to do it drag and drop simplicity, low code, Build apps is your way to go. If you are happy with, or if you even want a consistent UI experience across your SAP solutions, you might rather choose Fiori elements. You might be happy with the standard template if it's enough for your requirements, or you can adapt it. There's also theming options if you wanted to adapt it. It's really also a question of choice. If you need a completely customized application and you don't need low-code efficiency at all, no templates, you can go and write a completely freestyle application in SAP UI5 from scratch. So it really depends on who's behind the screen and who wants to build the app, and also what is the goal.
Yeah, let me take the next question. So this is done with a page builder. I assume there is also a way to use plain code to adjust the UI or annotation. Well, in this example, we used SAP Business Application Studio, and one of the benefits of SAP Business Application Studio is that you can decide on your own what you want to use. You can either use the visual tools that guide you through the whole process and support you, or if you want to jump to the code, it's always possible to simply jump into the code and then you can do your changes in the code in the way you would love to do it.
So then we have one, can Joule be utilized in RAP, RESTful Application Programming Model from ABAP, on BTP ABAP environment? If yes, in what scenarios and capabilities? In Build Code, we don't support ABAP development. We are working on generative AI capabilities for ABAP, and this is to be expected to be there for 2024.
Then perhaps the one about if Build Code is available in the BTP trial account. So Build Code currently has not been, is not generally available. That will take until beginning of next year. You can currently register if you want to already try it out, but currently it's not generally available.
Yes, if you go to sap.com/buildcode, I think you can register for the preview, and there will be a preview program with early access and feedback options. Then we have here another question. What is the main difference, low-level programming language, between Build Apps and Build Code? Well, Build Apps has a different tech stack than Build Code. And Build Code is optimized for development with cloud application programming model based on Java and JavaScript. And Build Code also supports SAP UI5 and Fiori Elements out of the box. So there is just a different choice of technologies behind it currently. This is the accurate answer to this question.
Yeah, and perhaps also interesting, not the question, but also interesting probably that the target group is also somewhat different, as we mentioned before. The one is more targeting our local developers. The other one, SAP Build Code, more for the professional developers.
So now
I think we are done with the questions.
That's it. Then thank you for your attention.
Yeah, it was great to have you here.
Keep the core clean.